For wild animals, life is all about survival. And in this battle for their own place in the natural world, each has adapted in amazing ways, evolving unique abilities and anatomical mutations, allowing them to thrive in even the toughest environments. But it's extreme cold that can push even the most resilient animals right to the very edge. Faced with freezing temperatures, deadly weather conditions, and inhospitable terrain, life can be a challenge for any animal. Yet even in the most barren of landscapes, some have found a way to flourish. Against all odds, these unique creatures have adapted to life on ice in order to survive. % of the Earth's surface is covered by ice all year round. But these white worlds aren't only found in the planet's polar regions. Much closer to the equator, cold and hostile habitats remain permanently frozen thanks to their high altitude. It's only September here in the Alps. But the peaks are shrouded in white, even in midsummer. And while these lower slopes might look idyllic now, in just a few months, they too will be buried in snow. So the clock is ticking for this Alpine marmot. He's too small to face the winter above ground. So he needs to pile on the pounds before the cold sets in, and he retires to his den. But he's picky about what he eats, choosing grasses with the highest level of fats. He must double his body weight if he's to survive. But he's not the only hungry animal up here in the mountains. This golden eagle is a marmot's #1 enemy at this time of year. So his mission will have to wait. The marmot lets out a warning to the rest of the colony. They must head for safety, and quickly. This time, he escapes unharmed. But there's no time to waste. He needs to get back to work. Being prepared for winter can mean taking risks. As well as eating, he needs to collect enough nesting material to keep him warm. bundles of dry grass will line his burrow and act as the perfect insulator. As soon as the weather starts to turn, he heads for cover. Three meters underground, safe in his burrow, it's time for his biggest trick to surviving the cold. Sleep. But this will be no ordinary nap. For the next 8 months, he'll be barely alive. As the snow arrives and the air outside cools, so does the marmot's body temperature. Dropping to just 4 degrees, it shuts down every system in their tiny bodies. It's a drastic survival technique, but they have no choice. The big chill is coming. By preparing for winter's arrival and spending the hardest months underground, the marmot ensures its survival through the bleakest season. But for some, winter can't come soon enough. The iconic peaks of America's Yellowstone National Park. Its most abundant residents, the elk, are enjoying the last days of autumn. They've been feeding up on grasses all summer long. Sticking together for safety, they roam in herds of over 1,000. Armed with giant antlers and sharp hooves, they're a dangerous prey for any predator to take on. This year's grazing season has been good to the elk. But for another resident of Yellowstone, summer is a more challenging time. This lone wolf is searching for a meal. Through the summer months, he and his pack have spread out, relying on small prey to see them through. It's been a meager existence. However, change is on its way. And when the snow arrives here in Yellowstone, the balance of power will swing back in favor of the wolves. 3,200 kilometers further north, winter is already tightening its grip on the Arctic's animals. By October, in northern Alaska, average temperatures have dropped well below freezing. This Arctic fox is just 3 months old. Life is all fun and games now. But soon, he and his siblings will be cast out by their mother and must survive the winter alone. But with snow covering the ground, it will be a tough time to learn how to hunt. Just a few days later, and he's left his family behind. Furry soles protect his feet on snow and ice. Short ears and a short muzzle reduce his surface area, minimizing heat loss. His thick, insulating fur has turned from autumn's tawny brown to a perfect white. These are all important adaptations to life in these barren wastelands. But they're useless unless he finds food. Older, more experienced foxes know how to stash resources for times such as these. but scavenging from others is a meager existence. And where there's carrion, there's always competition. By midwinter, deep snow makes finding food nearly impossible for a young fox. But this is where another of his skills comes into play. He not only has excellent sight, but perfectly tuned hearing. His ears pick up the faintest rustle from beneath the snow. Underneath his feet, another animal has taken refuge from the cold. A deer mouse. Hiding under the snow keeps it safe from the weather, while also protecting it from most predators. It would make a tasty treat. But it's not easy to catch something you can't see. With his prey hiding under a meter of snow, this Arctic fox will need both skill and luck. He looks, listens, then dives in. He must judge the correct distance and depth of snow. Mastering this art will be crucial to his survival. But it takes practice. While airborne, he adjusts his trajectory with a slight move of the tail, helping him make the perfect landing. Mission accomplished. This skill will see him through the winter ahead and ensure his survival. Finding food is a daily battle for all animals. But it's even tougher for those confined to one of the most hostile and isolated islands on Earth. Svalbard, an archipelago in the high Arctic. Winter temperatures here regularly drop to well below freezing, encasing any plant life in ice. But one animal, found only here, has evolved a unique adaptation to stave off hunger. The Svalbard reindeer. At just 80 centimeters high, this is the smallest species of reindeer in the world. This male is nearly half the size of reindeer found in less extreme environments. He leads a sedentary life, but he doesn't have much choice. He must conserve energy in the bitter cold. With no natural predators here on Svalbard, his biggest threat to survival is starvation. In the winter, his fur covers every inch of his body, even the very tip of his nose. But it's not just his coat that's changed with the seasons. When Svalbard reindeer must endure their most difficult time of year, their eyes change too. Reindeer are the only mammals that can see ultraviolet light. With their fat reserves close to used up, finding food can be the difference between life and death. So this clever adaptation allows them to pick out lichens otherwise camouflaged by the blinding snow. A vital skill in this world of white. Life in a frozen land can be tough for any herbivore. But for predators found in our planet's coldest extremes, the secret to surviving is adapting just as quickly as the seasons. A birch forest in the depths of Europe's winter, home to a solitary and secretive hunter. The Eurasian lynx. For half the year, these ancient woodlands are blanketed in snow, which makes finding food incredibly challenging. But this big cat has some clever adaptations to see it through. A thick fur coat offers protection against the freezing temperatures. Long legs with huge snowshoe-like webbed paws help him move effortlessly through the snow. In the summer, this adept hunter is able to bring down prey 4 times its size. But in winter, many large prey species migrate out of the lynx's range. He must eat up to 2 kilos of meat a day. He can't afford to be picky. So he's learned to adapt his hunting style to suit what's on offer in these challenging months. Eurasian lynx have vision so sharp they can spot a small rodent from 75 meters away. But with voles tunneling far below the thick snow, that won't help him now. Instead, he must listen. Black tufts of fur on his ears enhance his hearing, picking up even the faintest sound. He must time his ambush carefully. One wrong move, and he'll lose his chance. As he gets closer, he can pinpoint the vole's exact location. But this expert predator knows not to rush. He takes his time. Until he's within striking distance. It might be a small meal, but it will keep him going. For the lynx, little and often is the perfect way to dine. Thanks to its prolific hunting skills, the lynx can catch enough small prey to get it through the toughest time of year. But another predator has their eyes on a much bigger prize. Back in Yellowstone, the season has finally taken hold. And life has become far more difficult for the elk. As snow covers most of the park, they must travel further to find enough food. With their feeding ranges diminished, the elk grows steadily weaker. But there's one animal here who's getting stronger by the day. The wolf is now in its element. Its large paws have fleshy pads and claws for traction. Great for running in snow. With unbeatable stamina, it can chase its prey for hours on end. But despite this staying power, the wolf can't kill a large elk alone. They must hunt in packs. This wolf pack is a complex and social family group. Older members and subordinates each have their roles to play. And winter's arrival finally means they can hunt a prey which will sustain them all. Tracking the elk as they move through the park, the wolves become nomadic. They watch the herd for any opportunity. A weak target or a lone individual who's wandered into deep snow. They chase the herd, sending them into panic. Working together, the wolves get hold of their target and eventually take it down. The snow has allowed the wolf pack to take the upper hand. And over the coming months, they'll grow strong on elk. Despite the challenges that extreme weather can bring, even in our planet's most inhospitable environments, some animals find a way to make it through alive. Winter arrives early on the Mongolian steppe, turning it into one of the most bitter and hostile places on Earth. But there's one creature here who's prepared for its onslaught. The Przewalski's horse. These are the last wild horses on Earth. They live at altitudes up to 1,500 meters, where sub-zero temperatures and strong winds would result in rapid frostbite for any human. Fortunately, their new winter coats have arrived just in time, along with thicker hair on their muzzle and neck. But this year's early snowfall means the most nutritious food is now buried beneath 60 centimeters of snow. This tight-knit family group is made up of a stallion, a few mares, and their young foals. But with little more than withered grass to sustain them, the herd must travel up to 21 kilometers a day to find enough food. For some of them, keeping up with the journey is taking its toll. But whenever they stop for a rest, they gain company. With the ground blanketed by snow, magpies will rely on the horses for food. The magpies eat parasites, taking refuge deep in the warmth of the horse's coat. In such a barren land, these tiny insects are the only food for miles. The magpies help keep the horse's skin clean. However, carrying extra cargo can be just as irritating. Having already given the birds a free meal, providing a free ride is a step too far. To survive the harsh season ahead, these horses will need to find enough food beneath the snow all winter long. But another species prefers to plan ahead and stock up before the real cold sets in. It's late autumn in Finland. Snow is already building up on the forest floor. And this brown bear is on a desperate search for a meal. He'll need to find a den and hibernate. So he's now on a mission to increase his fat reserves. The berries he usually eats are long gone. So this is when having a superpower can help. Bears have the best sense of smell of all terrestrial mammals. 7 times better than that of a bloodhound. They've been known to travel 64 kilometers when following a scent trail. And his nose has led him straight to a dead reindeer. Brown bears are fond of carrion and will feed on carcasses of any animals they find. Even instances of cannibalism have been recorded. He'll stay active and feeding until forced to his den by low temperatures. Thanks to his super-powered sense of smell, this brown bear should gain enough weight to survive hibernation. But not all creatures choose to sit out the winter. Sometimes they must face it head-on. Back on the Mongolian steppe, cold winds have blown in from Russia, causing temperatures to plummet to 40 below. At this time of year, storms hit the slopes with deadly ferocity. A meter of snow can fall in a single day. The herd of Przewalski's horses are used to the challenging climate. But getting stuck in a snowstorm could be disastrous for the younger members of the group. They must find shelter. With many winters behind her, the eldest female takes the lead. The rest of the herd turn their backs to the storm and follow. Their survival depends on it. As the storm worsens, the herd plow on. Getting to shelter is their only hope. At last, the eldest mare leads the group into a valley. Here, the surrounding hills will protect them from the winds. They can stock up on food and avoid the full force of the storm. By knowing how to avoid the worst of the weather, the eldest mare ensures the survival of her family. Knowledge that will be passed down to future generations. For Przewalski's horses, winter is a season they are forced to endure. But elsewhere on Earth, the arrival of the snow can be a reason to celebrate. Hokkaido, the coldest region of Japan. The island is in the grip of winter, with temperatures regularly dropping below freezing. But one iconic species found here is beginning to gather. The red-crowned crane is a symbol of luck in Japan. Their large frames help them endure the coldest temperatures of any crane species. The fields are frozen solid. But these birds aren't here for food. They've come to find love. The male takes the lead. His partner soon joins, mirroring his moves. Together, they call out in a unique duet. Red-crowned cranes mate for life. This dance is a ritual the pair will perform together many times over the years. It strengthens their lifelong bond and improves their odds of reproductive success. As more pairs gather, they form one of nature's most elegant ensembles. They dance and sing in a beautiful bird ballet. With the show now over, they retreat to the nearby pools. Heated by geothermal energy, they ensure a welcome respite from the cold. And things will soon be heating up for the cranes themselves, as the time to mate is nearly here. In the mountains of Hokkaido, the winter is no surprise. But sometimes the cold can take grip in the most unexpected of places. In midwinter, winds blowing in from Siberia turn the Gobi Desert totally white, making this perhaps the toughest desert of all. Summer temperatures of 40 degrees now drop to -40. Few animals can survive such brutal temperature changes. But there's one that excels in these extremes. The wild Bactrian camel. Desert specialists, their adaptations to sand work equally well in snow. Wide hooves prevent them from sinking. Pads of fat on their base protect from cold just as they do heat. While bushy eyebrows, 2 rows of lashes, and a thick, shaggy winter coat keep the cold at bay. During summer, these camels never wander far from a watering hole. But winter gives them the opportunity to venture further to find food. What little water there was is now frozen. So the camels eat the snow. They must be careful. Too much, too quickly, could be lethal. So they take what they need, little and often. And the snow will never melt. The air is too cold and too dry. Instead, it's turned straight to vapor by the sun. Not a problem for the camels. Their nostrils can reabsorb the water from the air. Their newfound winter freedom ties in with breeding season. Males put on a somewhat bizarre performance. In the hope of attracting a mate. Using his tail, he flicks his alluring scent over his back to draw in the females. Despite his efforts, it doesn't seem to be working. But it's early in the season. He's got plenty of time to perfect his tactics. While the Bactrian camel has found a way to survive the Gobi's annual temperature extremes, elsewhere on Earth, seasons can change in an instant. And that's when survival comes down to experience. On the southern tip of Chile lies Torres del Paine National Park. At the foot of the Andes, the weather here is unpredictable. Snowstorms can erupt without warning. catching some animals unawares. This 15-month-old puma has lost his mother. He's not yet able to survive alone. She could be anywhere in their territory of over 100 square kilometers. He just needs to hold out long enough to find her. Thankfully, pumas are one of the most adaptable big cats. Used to facing a variety of environmental conditions. His thick fur prevents him from getting wet and keeps out the cold. He desperately cries for his mother. But his calls go unanswered. With the weather closing in, his best chance of survival is to find a place to hide. But in this open terrain, the options are limited. He's forced to spend another cold night alone. The next morning, the mother is out, searching for her missing cub. Retracing her steps around the boundaries of their territory, she checks for his scent, or any sign he may have been close. Then, she hears a sound coming from the valley below. It's her cub. At last, they're reunited. For the young cub, it's a lucky escape. The outcome could have been very different. This young puma will spend the next 9 months with his mother, where he'll learn how to adapt to the Andes' ever-changing climate. But of all the creatures that have learned to survive life in sub-zero conditions, one seems purpose-built for the cold. The high Arctic. A landscape of freezing temperatures, covered in its entirety by endless white sheets of snow. It's hard to imagine that any creature can survive such conditions. But one does. The muskox. These Ice Age relics are perfectly suited to this unforgiving place. Their fur enables them to withstand the harshest weather conditions. Blizzard-proof, reaching up to 1 meter in length, it covers their entire body. The dominant male in the group is always on guard. Come summer, he'll need to fight for his right to mate with the females. So he'll take any chance he gets to practice. Males charge their rivals at up to 40 kilometers per hour, crashing horns as they come together. The clashes continue until one backs down. The victor has won the battle. But all the muskox must continue to fight the war with the cold. For all animals, winter brings unique challenges. But nature's toughest creatures have found incredible ways to survive in our planet's coldest regions. Whether it's finding food, impressing a mate, or withstanding the planet's most extreme cold, these animals have evolved remarkable adaptations to outsmart the cold and succeed in the relentless struggle to survive.